Welcome back. I'm Amy Henderson with the Georgia Municipal Association, and we are live in the hall at GMA's 80th Annual Convention. We're here in the exhibit hall, and thank you, Aileen, for introducing us to some more of the exhibitors here. We really appreciate their support of GMA and the services and products that they have to display. Tomorrow morning, we are doing something new and different at our convention, and we're really excited about it because we've got a lot of cities now that are much more involved in activities, physical activities, and getting people active. Tomorrow morning, we are kicking off we're doing a walk here at over at the West End, starting at 6:30 in the morning. It's about a 2.5 mile walk, so it's not too strenuous. Anybody can do it. No walkers left behind. And it's to kick off GMA's new wellness program that we're calling CWalk Cities. And Dan Popovic is the founder of SeeMeCompete.com, which is an online, let's see if I can get this right, like an online gaming competition platform for people to compete against each other, for cities to compete against each other, and then we're going to eventually take over Tennessee and compete against them. That's my plan.
Absolutely.
Dan, explain a little bit about how this website is going to work for our cities that want to participate in this program.
Okay, yeah, great. So aside from listing the URL and all this stuff, basically, and there'll probably be a lot of interaction with me in the beginning.
Okay.
But we were going to try to keep it simple. Create a walking challenge. So you got to have a cheerleader in these cities, these communities.
Right.
I've seen that from the success that we've had in Atlanta. So it's going to take kind of one person to kind of, get a group together, but keeping it simple and forming a walking club, maybe once a week, a couple times a week, and getting out and forming a team. So they would come online to the platform. And we've called it, like you said, CWalk Cities is the name of the community within the platform that I've developed, and they would create a team.
Okay, so I could be, for example, I live in Decatur. I could be on Team Decatur.
Yep.
And I get points then for the activities that I participate in, but Decatur also gets points for me participating.
Exactly.
Okay.
So your individual points roll up to Decatur's points as a whole, and then there's a leaderboard. So you'll see these leaderboard functionality of the top cities.
Okay.
Obviously, it'll say top teams, but it's meant to say top cities, and then top participants. And like you said, you Decatur, I could be Atlanta, and you've got 20.
And I'm just going to go ahead and say I know a bunch of GMA employees that they can be bought. So they're available for any of these cities, and I'm more than happy to provide a list. And like I'll even break it down like the most valuable employees, the ones that do marathons and stuff like that. They should go for a little higher than the ones like, going to do the 5Ks.
Right. Right, yeah.
So what do the individuals get? I mean, there's rewards built into this as well, other than just pride.
Right, and that'll be an evolution. Okay. So, for example, like in Atlanta, we've created one community through the Atlanta Beltline, which I designed the running series for them.
Okay.
And yeah, people are, as they're entering these events and completing these events, they get points, like you said. These points could be redeemable for merchandise at local businesses. So, for example, we work a lot with like the Atlanta Hawks or the Atlanta Braves or Atlanta Ballet or Whole Foods, and people can literally print out a health accomplishment and call up the Braves or the Hawks for discounted tickets or walk into a Whole Foods.
So, and this will also then benefit the businesses in some of these cities around the state, because they can offer, for the first 5 people who contact them that have, X number of points, and say they're going to Hayhira to do a 5K in Hayhira, that they can redeem some points at a coffee shop in Hayhira.
Right.
So it helps the businesses as well as the city, and that's, I think, is great. And I think it's interesting to me, a lot of people that these activities, the 5Ks, the half marathons, the triathlon, they're tourism opportunities for people. They travel around the state to various events just to participate in those events, but also to see what's going on in these communities. And I think that's a great tie-in.
Right. Well, that's the key, like you said. It's to kind of see what's going on within these communities. To come to Savannah. Savannah's a great example. They've got the rock and roll out here, right? I mean, who wouldn't want to come out here and run in that?
Yeah,
I mean, that would be a ton of fun.
Just coming here to Savannah and running by yourself through the squares is beautiful, and it's great. Just scenery to get to go through. and then the cities will get points based on the people that participate. And I think we've decided we're going to start this. The program is kicking off around 1st of July and going through the end of December. And whatever city has the most points, and we're basing that on miles logged per capita to kind of even that playing field.
Participation's going to, well, obviously.
Yeah. They're going to get a prize from GMA as well. That is to be determined, but it is going to be an awesome prize.
And I'm trying to work on some interesting angles too. Like, I've got some organizations that I partner with that, maybe there's like nutritional health products that can for that city.
Oh, that's great.
Maybe somebody might donate a playground or something for one of the cities. So yeah, it's these types of incentives that really excite, entice, and reward
and get people involved. And there's so many partnerships out there right now, especially with the health and the wellness programs. And it's obviously a big focus of the federal government, the state government, and local governments. And the local governments, being the closest to the people, probably have the most opportunity to really do get people moving. The federal and the state government are obviously giving incentives, and we appreciate. Show the T-shirt that the first 200 people tomorrow will get this.
That's awesome.
Yeah, don't you love that logo too? CWalk Cities. But we also appreciate the sponsorship of Coca-Cola and Walk Georgia in the walk tomorrow morning, and they'll provide us with some healthy snacks afterwards, because it's not just about getting people moving; it's about learning how to eat healthy and do these things. Treat yourself well. Right.
Well, and it's that experience. It's that social experience where it's a great way to connect, meet people, and just have fun.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the one fun thing we've seen in the success with what we've done up in Atlanta is, like you said, you mentioned the 5Ks, the 10Ks. A lot of people seem to be afraid to enter one of those because you see the K and they think it's a road race.
Right.
Where they don't realize. It's not. It's your experience.
Right.
It's what you make out of it. Sure, you're going to have somebody that wants to finish it in, 18 minutes.
Right. That has some kind of record they're trying to go. But, one of the best half marathons I ever did was in Boston, Georgia.
Boston, Georgia, really?
Yeah, it was the Boston Mini Marathon. Love it. And it's, you run a little over 6 miles out of town, turn around, and come back. And as I was finishing, and there's 200, 300 people who run this thing. There's no timer. It is very much a community race. And so, the crowds along the way is a herd of cows. They don't care how well you're doing, apparently. They seem very disinterested in me. But as I was coming towards the finish, I was running with a woman who, she was really, you could tell she was kind of struggling, but she was very, very determined. And we got to talking, and she was saying this was her very first half marathon. And it has such a deep significance, and there's so many emotions that are tied into those types of achievements. I was so awed and impressed by her. And so we spent a little time on the road, running and talking and encouraging each other. And it really is a community event in that way.
Well, it's stories like that, those types of inspirational stories. I mean, that keeps me going. It keeps you going. I was watching, this is a bit of a higher level type of sport, Ironman, but there's this guy out there 20 years in a row, and I think he's around 70 or 71 now. And how inspirational is that? Now, granted, not everybody's going to, compete for an Ironman, but it's still inspirational. That's going to get me out and do a 5K. Once you do one, you kind of get hooked. And you come back and do another one.
Yeah, exactly. And there are people that's what they do. They spend their Saturday going to different 5Ks in different cities doing these. I want to ask, will there be an opportunity for cities to put if they're hosting any kind of sporting event, they'll be
Absolutely,
able to list those? And I think that's important then too, because it's another way for them to advertise the things that they're doing.
And then media as well. So I mean, it's a social platform is what it is. So it's creating those connections.
Okay, so what cities need to do, they need to form teams.
Form a team.
They need to have a cheerleader, somebody who's going to make that team get out there and move. And I know a lot of our cities already have that. And they need to contact you.
Contact me, right.
Is there a website or an email?
So email's the best. So it would be info@seemecompete.com. I don't know if you want to hold that up. So info@CharlieMaryEdwardCompete.com. And email me and my team.
And we'll have information on the GMA website, in our newspaper, and in e-newsletters going out. And we want people to get moving. We want cities
Just
to
have
be,
fun.
have a good time and
Yeah.
have cities be the leaders that they are in this movement. And I hope a lot of people too will come out tomorrow afternoon for our concurrent session that we're doing on this, where we're talking with you and others, including a woman, a researcher at the CDC, and she's got some great information on what the federal government is doing. But it's also important to note that it's not just about being physically fit, that there is an economic development component to this as well. And hopefully folks will come to that session tomorrow afternoon and learn more about that. And we appreciate you being here. We appreciate you doing this. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I think
and
so,
I'm,
too.
I'm looking forward to getting out into some of these cities. I'm going to be watching for opportunities, and I will say Decatur has a really good team, strong team in place. So I'm going to throw myself up there as being up for bidding if any other city wants me. I'm not a fast runner, but I'm steady and I keep going. So there's that.